the story about the man who, I said it in this masjid sometime, and I want to get the man who was a porter, and he had a dream that one day he will carry the goods of someone who is wealthy, and he will get some money and he will do something. So what happened is, he was at the train station, and there was a man who came out of the train with some milk in a canister, and he was a wealthy man. At that time there was a shortage of milk, so to have milk was something big. So he said, "Can you carry this?" This man says, "Yes, I will carry this for you." And he says, "I will give you a nice amount of money, a good amount of money for this." So that man took the canister, he put it on top of his head, and he was walking very happy. Today his dream is coming true. Why? Because he's going to get a lot of money. And you know, they have a skill. The porters, if you have seen them, they put something on their head. They have a skill to put something on top without holding it. And they can even run, it will not fall. They can even run with one foot because they know they are experts in their field. So subhanallah. This young man, he has this skill and he is walking. And that man says, "Look, whatever you do, don't drop the milk." He said, "No, I won't. Don't worry, I won't." So he is walking, and as he is walking, he is thinking to himself, "I am going to get, say for example, $100 from this man, or $10, whatever it was. I will buy 2 chickens. From there, the chickens will lay eggs. When they lay eggs, I will start selling eggs. Then I will buy more chickens. Before I know it, I'm going to have a poultry farm and I will have many chickens. They will lay eggs. And I will also start selling the chickens themselves. So I will now be a person who sells chickens and eggs. And after some time, I will buy some sheep. And then I will have a little farm and I will be able to grow. On one hand, I have my chickens, my eggs. The other hand, I will have sheep and perhaps goats. I might want to sell some of the milk of the goats, and I might end up selling the sheep, and I will open a butcher. I will be a butcher, and after some time I will buy a big piece of land, and I am going to buy some cows. When I buy the cows, we will sell milk, we will sell cows, we will sell so many things. I will employ 200, 300 people, and I will make sure that everything runs." And he is busy working with the canister on his head and his plan. His plan, a beautiful plan. It is workable, is it not? It can work if he works it out, and Allah gives him acceptance. There are from amongst us, even maybe sitting here, people who started off with nothing. And mashallah, today they have so much, you know that. So it is possible. So he has this dream. And then he says, "Then I will buy a building in the city center. I will buy, because now when I make money, I can't just leave all my eggs in one basket. I will buy a building in the city center. And after that, I will buy another building and I will give it on rent. And I will become one of the biggest businessmen in this whole land. Then I will go to the king to ask him for his daughter. I will go to the king because now they will know me. I will be a businessman and I will be the biggest. They will ask me, when he asks, I will then go to them and say, "Look, I want to marry your daughter." And as he is thinking this, he hit a rock with his knee and the canister fell down. So when it fell down, the owner of the milk, he was so upset. He turned around and said, "Look, what did you do to my milk? I lost my milk." He says, "Wait, hang on, relax. You only lost your milk. I lost my chickens. I lost my goats. I lost my sheep. I lost everything. I lost my eye. So many people lost their jobs, and at the same time I even lost my wife." The point I am raising is, you have to adjust your dreams. Because you have a dream, it is not wrong to dream. Dream, please dream. But remember, it is Allah's plan. You will have to adjust. I have daughters. In July we will give them a gown. You know, they will grow up, mashallah. Under me, I will teach them. They will become happy. They will love the Quran. Everyone has a dream. I want my child to become the Imam of the masjid, to learn Islam, to spread the deen. Everyone has a good dream. I want my child to do this, to do that. You know what? And then you say, "I want my child to marry someone, inshallah, a really good person, and inshallah they will have children. I will have grandchildren one day by the word of Allah," whatever. It is exactly like this man who had these dreams with the milk on top. If anything happens to that canister, trust me, you have to adjust your dreams. But Allah will give you something not very far off. If you aim very high with your children, inshallah, at least you will get halfway there. But if you have no aim, where are we going to go? If no aim. So I have met young people, I want to memorize the Quran. I want to memorize the Quran. Give me some advice on memorizing the Quran. It is not easy. Yes, it is good that you have the intention. Start today. You might not finish everything and you might find it difficult. How many children started it and then after a little while they gave up, they found it very difficult. At least they have a link with the Quran. At least now they can read the Quran looking inside properly. Some parents, they say, I want my child to become a hafiz. They push the child, they force the child, they have a problem with the child. They start fighting with the child. And the child goes in and the child starts learning Quran and they memorize one juz and then they give up after a big fight. You don't realize that while you were trying to make your child a full hafiz, at least now they can read the Quran very beautifully looking inside. That is a bonus. That is a bonus. Have you thought of it? But if you didn't even plan that, they wouldn't even have achieved this much. So life is filled with hardship, one after the other. Tests, you have to adjust your dreams. You have one day you will have a lot of wealth. The next day you will struggle because you will suffer a loss. You have to suffer a loss. It is Allah's promise. Because that verse that I was reading in Surah Baqarah, Allah says, we will test you some days. You will be inflicted with fear. Fear of what? All types of fear. You escaped. Look at the people in some of the lands around us. May Allah protect our lands. May Allah grant us peace and goodness. Innocent people, they were living. They had nothing. Nothing was happening. They were not interfering with anybody. They had to run away. Their homes were destroyed. Everything happened. They became refugees all across the globe. What happened to them? Take a lesson. We are concerned. We want to see a solution. We want a stop to all the fighting and killing. That is how it is supposed to be. That is what we make dua for. Sometimes there is confusion. We don't even understand what is going on. That is how much confusion there is. But the lesson to learn is, those people, a lot of them had more comfortable lives than you have today. Do you realize that? What happened? Allah says, we tested them. We tested them. They adapted. They went. They came. Those people who were living in air conditioning, those people who have beautiful buildings, they were found later on to be in camps of refugees where they don't even have a blanket, but they got used to it. Allah gifted them by allowing their bodies to adjust, by allowing their system to adjust. You have to adjust. If you don't, you get depressed. You become sick. You suffer a sickness, a mental disease because you did not adjust. You have to adjust. When you lost your job, or your salary went down, or they were retrenching people and you had to go, for example, don't be depressed. Make the most of what you have. Some of the people who are the healthiest and the wealthiest are from among those who one day they suffered a dip and then they came up. They suffered a dip and then they came up. I can give you a true story of a man who went to look for a job as a cleaner at one company in the United States. It is a true story. And he went for the interview. He had the interview. And this person asked him at the end of the interview, what is your email? He says, I don't have an email. He says, if you don't have an email, you are nobody. You are nobody. We cannot give you the job. If you don't have, anyway, he was disgruntled, upset. He walked out. As he went out, he saw some people selling tomatoes. You know, they call them tomatoes in America. Anyway, selling tomatoes on the road. And what happened is he realized, hey, this is also a good way of earning money. So he went to the market, he bought some tomatoes, he sold them, and he bought a few more, and he sold them. And he became a person who sells vegetables. And in no time, mashallah, he started delivering from one corner to the other with a little bit of a profit. And before long, he bought a little stall, a little, you know, one of those, what do they call them? A simple store. One of those little stores, and he started selling from that, and he was going on, and it got to a time when he bought a corner store, and after that he became a big supplier, huge, and he became one of the biggest in vegetables. And one day he was invited to some big some big company, huge, for some function, and he went there. And he met that man. Which man? The man who told him, you are nobody. And today he was somebody. And guess what? When they were introduced and he was so thankful, he said, you know what? If I was given that job, I was just going to still be a cleaner in your office. Did you hear that? But because you did not give me the job and you told